Okay, so 68.9%, that number, it just completely redefines what we thought we knew about AI agents, like just a week ago. This isn't about AI generating a quick paragraph or maybe a catchy headline anymore. This is about AI executing complex tasks autonomously. It feels like a seismic shift, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It
Yeah.
really is. And what truly blew my mind wasn't just the number itself. That 68.9% browse comp benchmark for OpenAI's new ChatGPT agent. It was just how fast this transition is accelerating in real-world applications.
Right.
It's not just some statistical leap on paper. It's like a giant flashing neon sign that the future of work just, boom, rocketed forward by years. We're talking actual tangible impact right now.
Exactly. So for our deep dive today, that's really our mission, to unpack this pivotal moment, really get into it. We're not just looking at the cool tech, but what this sudden leap forward in AI agent capability means for businesses, big and small, for job roles as we, understand them, and fundamentally for the whole concept of efficiency in your daily operations. Plus, we can't ignore that just this week we also saw some pretty huge regulatory shifts happening. Those are going to ripple through how companies operate globally. It's a lot to process, but really crucial to get your head around. Okay, let's jump right into that core breakthrough then. OpenAI's ChatGPT agent launch. For so long, many businesses, maybe even yours, were seeing AI as, just a chatbot, right? Or a fancy search engine, maybe a content helper. But this feels different. So what does this mean for those businesses, the ones maybe still caught in that slightly older mindset?
Yeah, you've hit on the core challenge there. It means they need to reevaluate basically everything. This isn't just conversational AI anymore, not even close. This new agent actually combines three incredibly powerful capabilities. First, you've got operator's web browsing, so it can navigate the internet, pull information, understand web pages like a person.
Okay.
Then there's deep research synthesis. It takes all that raw data and actually turns it into actionable insights, connects the dots across, tons of different sources. And finally, and this is crucial, it has terminal access. That means it can execute code, talk directly to other systems, even manipulate data in a programming environment.
So it's not just finding information, it's
acting on it.
Right.
So precisely. Think about it, right? This agent can handle complex workflows all on its own, autonomously. We're talking everything from managing your calendar, scheduling meetings end-to-end, to building out incredibly detailed financial models by itself, based on data it pulled and analyzed from public filings. That's 68.9% browse comp score. And by the way, that benchmark specifically measures how well AI agents navigate the web, extract info, understand it, all without a human helping. That score is a massive leap. The previous best was around 51.5% for similar tools.
huge difference.
It's like going from a helpful assistant, someone who fetches things, to a truly independent, competent worker.
That's a really big jump. And are we seeing this actually happening now in the real world, or is it still mostly theory?
Oh, it's absolutely playing out. We're already seeing the real-world impact, and honestly, it's accelerating fast. Investment banks, for example, they're reporting a stunning 40% reduction in manual research work just by deploying these agents. Imagine that efficiency gain.
40%. Yeah. We're hearing that pro users get 400 monthly messages, plus team users get around 40. But here's the really interesting part. The early adopters, especially in areas like competitive analysis, market research, project management, they're seeing the strongest, most immediate results. They're using agents to scour competitor websites, summarize earnings calls, track project milestones, all autonomously. It's not theoretical anymore. It's driving tangible business outcomes right now.
That's incredibly compelling. Okay, so this really isn't just about AI assistants making life a bit easier. It's a fundamental shift. We're talking AI workers who can perform significant chunks of a job, which implies companies, they have to fundamentally rethink not just individual job roles, but how entire workflows are designed.
Right, and it definitely speeds up that shift we've been talking about, away from traditional programming towards prompt orchestration. So for someone listening right now thinking, okay, this is happening, it's real, what should I do tomorrow? What's the immediate action plan? What's step one?
All right, good question. For quick wins, like in the next 30 to 90 days, you should absolutely be piloting agent workflows. Pick your most repetitive, high-volume research tasks. For instance, test out customer research automation, summarizing reviews, analyzing sentiment across thousands of comments. That's an immediate, measurable win you can see. And honestly, given the broader economic signals we're seeing, you should probably lock in supplier contracts before inflation potentially hits harder.
Use agents to help with that analysis, compare terms, identify the best rates, maybe even draft preliminary agreements. It's about using these new tools for immediate operational gains you can actually measure.
I hear you, and those are super practical, quick steps. Definitely things people can start on. But here's where I maybe push back a little, because this is a huge concern we keep hearing. Some people are still really worried about job elimination. We hear that constantly, especially when we talk about AI taking on significant chunks of a job. How do we square that very real human concern with what you're describing?
That's a crucial point, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a totally valid concern for a lot of people. But if we look at the sort of contrarian perspective from the sources, history actually suggests something different. It suggests AI agents will shift workers, shift them from pure execution to things like strategy, oversight, and exception handling. Managing the edge cases. Think of ChatGPT agent like hiring an intern who never sleeps, costs less than your daily coffee, and actually reads all those dense reports you've been avoiding.
Right, okay.
Remember when spreadsheets became common? We didn't just fire all the accountants, right? We created more financial analysts who could suddenly do much more complex strategic work because the basic number crunching was automated. It's kind of the same idea here. The nature of the work changes.
So less doing the math, more interpreting the results, more strategic thinking.
Exactly. And new roles are popping up fast. Things like prompt engineering, knowing how to talk to the AI effectively to get what you need, workflow design, figuring out how to build processes where AI and humans work together smoothly, and human-AI collaboration management, basically, overseeing these new mixed teams. So companies shouldn't really be planning layoffs. They should be preparing to hire AI orchestration specialists or maybe AI workflow architects, something like that. The demand for those skills, it's going to surge. For someone out there listening, your job probably isn't going away. It's evolving. Your role becomes about leveraging these incredibly powerful new tools, not being replaced by them. That's the critical mindset shift, I think.
That makes sense. And speaking of strategic shifts, that actually connects quite neatly to something else big that happened this week. On the policy front, we absolutely need to talk about this because while these agents are changing what companies can do, policy is rapidly shaping where and how they can do it. We're seeing this really stark regulatory divergence emerging. And this is truly crucial for any business. It presents, well, both significant opportunities and some pretty big obstacles.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is just how quickly the whole landscape is changing, especially between the major global powers. Just this week, July 23rd, President Trump signed executive orders, and they dramatically alter the regulatory environment for AI, specifically in the US. These orders are designed to speed up data center permits, finance tech exports more aggressively. They eliminate GEI requirements from government AI projects. And fundamentally, they reverse the previous administration's more cautious safety-first approach. It's a very, very clear signal to the market.
So the US is basically putting the pedal to the metal. Innovation first, figure out the rest later.
Pretty much. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it creates this really sharp contrast with, say, the European Union. The US is now clearly prioritizing rapid deployment, speed, innovation, while the EU, with its AI Act already in place, is sticking to stringent safety assessments, strong data governance, transparency requirements, a much more cautious path. This divergence means companies might end up needing dual stack architectures if they want to operate properly in both markets.
Dual stack, meaning two different systems?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just about ticking compliance boxes. It could mean running two different versions of your AI solutions tuned to different rules. We're talking about a situation where early movers, the ones who adapt quickly, could gain maybe a 6 to 12-month advantage.
Yeah.
They can use what's called regulatory arbitrage.
Okay, simplify regulatory arbitrage for us.
Basically, it just means strategically choosing where or how you operate to benefit from the most favorable rules for your specific business goals. Setting up shop or maybe just certain operations where the regulations align best with your strategy, whether that's speed or safety.
Right. And what's fascinating here is if you're a company operating internationally, this raises a really tough question. How do you navigate this? How do you manage both? What kind of keeps me up at night thinking about leaders and entrepreneurs listening is the potential for just absolute compliance nightmares if you're not planning for this divergence right now.
Exactly. For US-based companies, or those primarily focused there, this means regulatory hurdles are significantly lower for at least the next 4 years, assuming this policy direction holds. You can really optimize for speed, which the US policy now clearly favors, Or you can optimize for trust and robust compliance, which is still the EU's main focus. But if you want to serve both markets, and most big global companies do, it absolutely requires careful strategic planning. It's not just a tech stack issue. It's legal, it's operational, it's even about talent acquisition. You need people who understand both regulatory worlds.
So what's the long game look like? What should companies be doing over, say, the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, longer term plays. Definitely over the next 6 to 12 months, companies have to start building dual compliance strategies. For the US and EU markets specifically, you also need to develop region-specific deployment capabilities. That means really systematically mapping your business workflows to what these AI agents can do, but doing it based on the specific regulatory environment you're operating in for that workflow. Now, I don't know exactly how this will play out for, say, smaller businesses trying to operate globally. That's tough. But here's my best guess. They might have to pick a lane initially. Focus on the US market first for speed, or maybe the EU for trust, and only expand once they've really proven their model and built up the infrastructure, the knowledge to handle that dual compliance burden. It's going to be a complex but totally necessary strategic choice for many.
Which brings us quite naturally to, well, the elephant in the room. How are all these massive tech shifts, this incredible innovation, bumping up against significant regulatory changes? How is this all showing up in the financial markets? It's not just about the raw numbers, the earnings reports. It's about what those numbers mean for the bigger trends we're discussing and, for the future of investment in this space.
It's definitely a fascinating picture. A mixed bag, really, but with some clear signals if you look closely. Take Tesla, for instance. They actually missed their Q2 earnings estimates. Reported $22.5 billion in revenue. The expectation was closer to $22.64 billion. Not a huge miss, but Elon Musk warned of potentially rough quarters ahead. And he specifically cited tariff costs as a major factor.
So geopolitics biting again.
Exactly. It really highlights how ongoing trade policy issues, global supply chains, they still impact even the biggest tech players, even while they're pushing innovation. It's a real-world reminder that external factors matter a lot.
Okay, so a bit of a cautionary tale there, especially for companies with complex global operations. What else?
Well, on the flip side, look at Alphabet. They actually beat their estimates. And here's where it gets really interesting for our discussion. They increased their planned AI capital expenditure, boosted it to an astounding $85 billion, up from a previous projection of $75 billion.
Wow, $85 billion.
Yeah, that's a massive commitment. It tells you exactly where they see the future.
Right.
Regardless of any current market jitters or tariff concerns, they are pouring resources into AI, believing it's the next huge growth engine. And overall, the broader market isn't doing too badly. Something like 83% of reporting S&P 500 companies actually beat estimates this quarter. That's above the average, which is usually around 78%. So the market isn't collapsing, but what we are seeing is this massive capital reallocation, a divergence of investment strategy within the tech sector itself.
That's a really compelling contrast. So we're seeing some companies like Tesla maybe struggling a bit with those macro headwinds, while others like Alphabet are just doubling, even tripling down on AI investment. How does this connect to the bigger picture, like M&A activity, mergers and acquisitions? Are we seeing consolidation or more expansion? What are those M&A signals telling us about where the smart money is flowing in this new AI agent landscape?
It's definitely pointing towards expansion and strategic positioning. Very targeted moves. We saw SS&C Technologies acquiring Calastone for about $1.03 billion. That's a significant fintech deal, really boosting their digital transaction capabilities. Amazon acquired Bee, which is a wearable AI assistant company. A clear signal, I think, of their commitment to ambient computing, getting AI integrated into daily life beyond just our screens. And Blackstone, the private equity giant, took a majority stake in NetBrain Technologies, which is in network automation. What's really notable here, though, is the trend. Tech M&A values are actually up 15%, even though the number of deals, the volume has declined by about 11%.
Okay, so fewer deals, but bigger price tags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It indicates that the deals happening are larger, more strategic. Companies aren't just buying up random market share. They're buying critical capabilities, foundational AI technology, and the specialized talent they absolutely need to compete in this new agent-driven world. Tesla and Alphabet really serve as perfect case studies here for investors, don't they? They show the very different financial implications, the different paths these shifts are creating for various business models.
So when we pull it all together, everything we've unpacked today, from the frankly stunning performance leap of AI agents to this clear divide forming in global regulation and then these signals from the financial markets, it really feels like it boils down to this: the convergence of this advanced agent technology and this stark regulatory divergence. It's creating an absolutely unprecedented window of opportunity. It's a moment of immense disruption, no doubt, but also potentially one of immense reward for those who are ready to act decisively.
Absolutely. And the specific action item for you, the listener, I think is really clear from all this. Organizations that move quickly but smartly to implement these agent workflows, while also strategically navigating that US-EU regulatory split we talked about, they are going to gain significant competitive advantages, period. Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to automate everything at once. The key is starting small but significant. Focus on high-value, measurable processes first, like that 40% reduction in manual research we saw. Find your version of that. Start there, prove the value, learn as you go, and then expand systematically.
Precisely. It's about being proactive, not reactive, making those targeted, smart moves right now. So with all of this swirling around, here's the final thought maybe to leave you with. What will your role, or maybe even your entire business model, look like in 12 months? Once these AI agents are truly integrated into the workflow, that's the question to really keep mulling over. And looking ahead, with the Fed decision coming up next week, we'll certainly be watching closely for its impact on tech investment, talent flow, all of that. We'll dive into that and much more on our next deep dive.